Welcome to Vital Signs, coming to you from the Loma Linda University School of Medicine. I'm Dr. Bonnie Cheelum.
And I'm Dr. Dusty Rigsby. Spend the next half hour with us and we'll give you a close-up view of Loma Linda University's School of Medicine, one of America's premier medical schools.
Owned and operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the School of Medicine focuses on medical ministry.
We're excited about this chance to show you a unique part of medical training here at Loma Linda. We'll also have an intimate look at life as a Loma Linda medical student. And in our Heritage Snapshot features, Richard Schaefer will tell us why the American Medical Association threatened to shut down Loma Linda's medical school before it even started.
That's all coming up next on Vital Signs.
Joining us on Vital Signs is Dr. Henry Lamberton, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the School of Medicine. And here too is medical student David Puter, who helped start a great new tradition here at Loma Linda. Welcome, Dr. Lamberton. Welcome, David. David, can you tell us about your class's decision to adopt a hospital?
Yeah, after we returned, after freshman year, about 1/3 of our class had gone overseas, and we decided we wanted to do something together. And there was just so much need, we didn't know what it was. We decided to adopt one hospital. We met with Dr. Hart, and Haiti was one of the ones that came to the top of the list. I myself had been there, and so it was very near and dear to my heart. So we went over there as a class after sophomore year, and about 3 other small trips. We did assessments, did small projects, ran various clinics, surgeries, and whatnot. When the earthquake hit, we kind of knew what was going on, and we had a great idea on how we could move forward. And so we sent over students. We knew that they needed an autoclave immediately. We sent over an autoclave. We just got the ball rolling, and a lot of us have been there.
Now, David, as a student, how do you find it time to do this, especially with the earthquake and everything? Everything was so urgent. Tell me, what was your role in all of that?
Yeah, so we created an org chart, and we split up jobs. My specific job was to kind of strategize some of the upper things and also to do a lot of the videotaping. One of the ways we motivated people to raise an endowment was to let them know what was going on. So far, we've raised $80,000, and we're looking to raise $100,000 by graduation.
So in addition to actually sending equipment and sending physicians there, you were also raising money to keep this project going. And how did you raise this money? I'm curious. That's an enormous amount of money for medical students to raise.
We sent out DVDs and letters to our friends and families. We kept them posted and let people know what was going on.
Now, I'm curious, with this type of experience, how do you think that might have altered your medical education or maybe even your plans for the future as you leave medical school?
You know, I think we've been given so much here in America. It's unbelievable. We've been given, you know, from our education to our knowledge of God, we've been given so much. And all we can really do is give back in return. And so I think by giving back in medical school, it's kind of created a life path for me, so to say. You know, whether it be through education, small community outreach. I do have a desire to go overseas and work someday, but I think the main thing is just learning that life is a gift, and it's our gift to also give back to other people.
Dr. Lamberton, what about Loma Linda Medical School's history and mission makes this a natural fit?
Well, as a Seventh-day Adventist Christian institution, we historically and still do take the commission to go to all the world very seriously that Jesus gave in Matthew. And then we've also very much emphasized health, and we have mission hospitals all over the world, which gives us a real advantage when it comes to placing students overseas. We have a network of places with graduates who can mentor them when they're there.
Dr. Lamberton, David, thank you both for joining us and sharing with us this experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David and his classmates started the ball rolling when they decided to adopt a hospital. That idea has caught on with other classes too. Here's Kyra Eddy to talk about that.
Our class first heard about the Adopt a Hospital project from 2 students from the class of 2010 who had chosen to adopt a hospital in Haiti. They invited us to their home for a Vespers. They fed us, they showed us video from the hospital they had adopted. We prayed together, and the members of my class, the class of 2012, were infused with an energy and their passion to also adopt a hospital. We didn't know where in the world it would be or what hospital it would be, but we knew that we wanted to be a part of this. When we finished our first year, several of us went out to different hospitals around the world looking for that perfect hospital to adopt. We came back with our stories, we met together, we prayed, and we chose La Loma Luz Hospital in Belize with the help of Dr. Hart. Our class has already started raising money for our hospital in Belize. We are selling t-shirts, we're gonna make a DVD to send to friends and family so that they can contribute to the trip. We plan to go our second week of Christmas break, and we'll be involved in the OR, doing surgeries, doing community clinics, helping with building projects. We have a plan to start helping our hospital now. It is so hard to be a second-year medical student. We study all the time, 12 hours a day, poring over our books, not knowing what detail is going to be on the next test. And to have a project like the Adopt a Hospital project in Belize to think about, to dream about, to rally around has been such a good thing for our class. People come up to me in between classes and they ask me, what are we doing for the hospital? Are we buying our plane tickets yet? When are we going? What can I do to help? So it gives us something past medical school to work towards, a reason to do all this studying and go through everything that we're going through now. It's going to be worth it. Our class has a long-term commitment to La Loma Luz Hospital in Belize. We're going now, but we also plan to go back later. Maybe some of my classmates will go there as missionaries later. When we have our 10-year class reunion, maybe instead of having a cruise, we'll all meet back at our hospital in Belize and enjoy each other's company and be able to use the skills that we've gained to do something good in another part of the world.
Stay with us for a Frontline report about Haiti. But first, here's what they're saying on campus.
Loma Linda was actually the only institution I considered because our goals are basically the same. I want to serve people, I want to contribute to make man whole, and I want to be a missionary eventually. So to me, Loma Linda was the one and only option.
I feel that the motivation level here is completely different than at other schools where I interviewed at. It's really collaborative. We've able to do events that people are excited about. We just adopted a hospital in Honduras.
A good number of us have been able to make trips abroad and work in different mission hospitals. And that's a great opportunity that they actually help us financially with.
I want to do medical mission work, and the whole purpose of why Loma Linda was founded was to be the College of Medical Evangelists.
There are lots of individuals here that I've come to interact with who, in my opinion, live, breathe, and speak missions.
Welcome back to Vital Signs and our look at the overseas experiences of students here at Loma Linda University School of Medicine. Joining us now is Sarah Allen, who is here to tell us about what happened when she went to Haiti after that island nation was hit by a devastating earthquake. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us what it was like in Haiti when you got there after the earthquake and how it differed from your preconceived notions of what you would find?
Well, I actually had been there about 2 years before the earthquake. I went there with my class when we chose to adopt the hospital. So I knew a little bit about where Haiti was coming from, that it was already a country in extreme poverty, dealing with enormous problems to begin with. And so after the earthquake happened, I knew that that country was going to be in trouble and face extreme devastation. But nothing could really prepare me for what I saw when I got there. I saw tent cities everywhere I went, people living on the streets, people who had no homes. The people that I talked to, everybody had a story. Every single person I talked to was a victim of the earthquake. And they shared with me the struggles of the family members they had lost, just what it was like to not have a home anymore. They had homes still, but they were too scared to even sleep inside because they were scared that it was going to fall and collapse on them, and revisiting the trauma of the earthquake. Nothing could have prepared me for what I saw, but it was definitely a life-changing experience seeing the people there.
Now, how soon after the earthquake were you able to go there?
I was there about 2 months after the earthquake. I was there on the 2-month anniversary. And it seems like every time the day 12 comes around, everybody kind of revisits the trauma of what happened and revisits the stories.
And as a student, how were you able to help?
Well, I am planning on going into OBGYN, so I spent most of my time in labor and delivery and also in the gynecology clinic. There was an immense amount of need because they were providing care for anybody who walked in the door, free care for all these patients. So the doctors who usually work there didn't have the time to take care of all these patients. They were on call every single night. So I worked with some of the other volunteers, kind of running the floor and seeing patients on my own, along with some attendings' help, but I got a lot of experience seeing a lot of patients. And I think that, we did provide a service for the people there.
Now, you say at the hospital. Was the hospital damaged, or was it like an outdoor hospital?
Initially, they were concerned about damage to the hospital, but they did thorough investigations, and the hospital was fortunately not damaged. So we were able to work inside the hospital with the structure. We had operating rooms going and operating day and night, especially right after the earthquake happened. I know that they were swamped with patients, but yeah.
Many times students are very insecure about their knowledge and their skills. How did this kind of experience help you build confidence?
This kind of experience showed me what I did know, actually. When you need to know something, you remember. So, I saw patients who were preeclamptic, pregnant patients with malaria, and, each time I saw a patient, I realized what I did know, realized what I didn't know, got the help, and learned from those experiences to help the next patient.
Were there any specific patient interaction that really sticks out in your mind that you think you'll carry for the rest of your life?
I remember one patient who came in massively hemorrhaging. She was about 2 months pregnant, and she explained to me that she had taken a pill to induce abortion because she didn't feel like she could take care of the baby. She had lost her husband in the earthquake, already had several other children to take care of, and she didn't feel like she could bring in another child into this world. And I don't think I'll ever forget that patient.
What do you think this whole experience with being a missionary and essentially going overseas, how do you think that will affect you in terms of your future goals?
I think having seen firsthand the people who are suffering, getting to know them, hearing their stories, will always make me want to be a part of a mission experience and want to make a difference. When I know how fortunate I am to have received the kind of education I have, I know I want to do something to give back to these people. And I know it'll always be a part of my career and my personal mission to do something.
And you've done other mission trips besides Haiti?
Yes, I spent a year in Venezuela as a student missionary when I was in college. So I was able to learn Spanish then. I also spent a year in France, actually, and learned French. So I was able to use that in Haiti quite a bit. I did a lot of translating, which was very tiring. But it was a lot of fun, too, because I got to know the patients really well. I got to know the people. And just this year, I was able to go to Ecuador for a month as well, and spent a month in Cameroon. I've kind of been all over. I love to travel, I love doing mission work, and I love kind of combining the missions with adventure and kind of seeing the world. So I've been really fortunate to be here at Loma Linda that's given me the opportunity to do those kinds of things. And I know I'll definitely include it in my future plans.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us in our studio today.
Thank you.
Next, a close-up look at the lives of 6 medical students here at the School of Medicine. But first, here's Richard Schaefer with a Loma Linda Heritage Snapshot.
In the spring of 1910, A.G. Daniels, the president of the General Conference, and Professor Homer Salisbury, the director of the Department of Education for the church, were on their way to Loma Linda for a reincorporation meeting. They decided to stop in Chicago and talk with Dr. Nathan Caldwell, the secretary of the American Medical Association, Council on Medical Education, to find out what it would take to start a school of medicine that might be acceptable to the American Medical Association. They were a little bit afraid that John Burden, the business manager of the Loma Linda Sanitarium, was going to sink the church financially, so they needed this information. Caldwell told them what they would need, including the fact that they would need many specialists in each branch of medicine and heavy financial backing. The 2 Adventist leaders did not identify themselves as being from Loma Linda or have anything to do with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They didn't want to do anything or say anything that might jeopardize the church in starting a school of medicine that might someday be acceptable to the American Medical Association. As they stood up to leave, they thanked Dr. Caldwell for his time, and Dr. Caldwell pointed right at the president of the General Conference, A.G. Daniels. He says, "And you tell those people in Loma Linda the following facts." Daniels asked, "What makes you think we're from Loma Linda?" "Because no one in the world is so foolish as to believe that you can build and maintain a medical school without money except you Adventists." "Well, what will you do if we put it on anyway?" "You put it on," Caldwell snapped, "and we'll put it off. We're not going to have any more of these one-horse medical schools in this country." These 2 Adventist leaders came right out to Loma Linda and they put it on anyway. And today we have one of the largest schools of medicine in the western United States. Almost 700 student physicians and almost 10,000 graduates.
Throughout the school year, our cameras recorded key experiences in the lives of 6 very special students here at the School of Medicine. They're special not because they're better or brighter than their classmates, but because they were willing to share their experiences and their stories with us, to give us viewers an intimate look at what life is really like for a student in the Loma Linda University School of Medicine. After our break, we'll see Chapter 1 of their story.
Your responsibilities as a professional, they begin today. As you begin your life as a medical student, learning to become a physician at Loma Linda.
Monica Ball. Darren Rudisell. Laura Hanson. Emily McCleary.
Healthcare runs deep in my family. My dad is a dentist. My mother is a nurse. Both of my grandmas are nurses. My grandpa is a doctor. One of my aunts is a nurse, my sister is a nurse, and one of my cousins is a nurse. So there's quite a long line in the family. I mean, it's shown me the impact that healthcare has on people's lives and, you know, how much of a difference you can make within people's lives by being a healthcare professional. And so I think that's what really pushed me in that direction from a young age.
The physician's oath at Loma University School of Medicine. Before God, these things I do promise. Before God, these things I do promise.
Okay, so go ahead and with your right hand, you have to go inside. Okay, two fingers.
Two fingers.
There you go. Grab the single end and pull.
Pull.
Keep hanging on there,
Okay.
but pull this one.
I never wanted to be a doctor. Like, even when I was a junior in high school, I'd applied for this program at NASA, and the guidance counselor there, you know, she said, well, you know, Jason, that's a good program, but just in case you don't get in, why don't you apply for this other program also at Loma Linda so you have a backup for your summer? And I was like, I don't need a backup. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get into my NASA thing and I'm gonna be an engineer. But I did because she's my guidance counselor and I listened to her. I didn't get in to the NASA program, but I got accepted to the Loma Linda program.
If you drive right to left, so the needle's over here in your left hand.
It's true,
it's
Okay, yeah. All right,
it's
all right.
confusing, but.
And I remember calling my mom 2 weeks into it and I was like, Mom, I think I want to be a doctor, you know? And she was so surprised. I was totally not even looking at that, but after, you know, learning anatomy and studying all that stuff, I realized I really liked learning this stuff.
The tip of the left second digit, which is now
Supposed to lay right on top of each other. If you're doing it like perfectly, which apparently looks like that's what I'm doing. It's an absolute perfect stitch.
He's so humble. You know, that was one of the reasons why I married him, because of his humility. My cousin and I, we used to just put chairs together and we had this blue and yellow sled, because, you know, we lived in Maryland and it snowed there. So we just put the sled, you know, one end on this chair and the other end on that chair, and that used to be our hospital bed. And we used to do all the little funny things that we saw the doctor do to us. So, you know, the reflex and, you know, try to listen to your heart. I don't know how we did that. Oh, I think I made up a new tie.
The Brittany method.
Because I did it wrong. I just remember we always used to play together and play doctor and stuff like that. And from that time, I wanted to be a doctor. I'm getting tired of doing this.
What would you like to do?
Sleep.
Can anyone tell me, why did Jesus say, I'm the bread of life? He was in the temple, was he?
I think
No.
he wants to.
What I wanted to do was be a pastor here, somewhere in the U.S. And in fact, it was one of my friends who pushed me into this idea of missions. And he was like, hey, I have a perfect mission trip for you this summer. Do you want to go to Nicaragua? And I was like, okay, where is Nicaragua? I actually went there to preach in evangelistic campaigns, which I did during weekends. But during the week, I worked in the clinic, and I really loved it. I just had some second thought in the back of my mind that maybe both of these things could work, preaching and medicine. I really love the fact that I did theology for undergrad, because it really puts things in perspective for me. I see medicine through theology.
I was on call every other night for a week, and in the middle of that, my pager went off, and I wanted to cry. I was like, no, you gotta be kidding me, I just need to sleep. Just take a deep breath for me, in and out. So it's times like that, you know, when you want to cry, when you hear your pager, that you wonder, wow, was this such a good idea? And you know, you put in like 110 hours that week, and you haven't seen your family, and you're kind of just in survival mode, and you're like, oh, is this a good idea? I don't know. You know, you pray that God will lead you, and you don't get the lightning, you don't get the fire, that sort of thing, but you do get people telling you where your gifts lie. You do get desires, and I think God-given desires for ministry in certain areas. And so I feel like that's part of why I went into medicine too. I had a number of teachers saying, you know, you should be a doctor. I think this is something that fits you. something that you would be good at, and I think you should really consider it. This is Dr. Gomez's office, so if I see a patient, they're pretty comfortable letting me write up the note. It fits nicely if you're a Christian with a real ministry. I think those sorts of things also, played a very strong role in my decision for medicine too.
Knock, knock. What are we getting set up here? Oh, monitors. Uh-oh. Hi, Leilani. Hi. Hi. My name's Lindsay Bautista. I'm one of the 4th-year medical students working in the ER today. How's she doing today? She looks very active. She is. Yeah. Initially, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And when I say initially, I mean the first job I can ever remember thinking, that's what I want to be when I grow up, was a veterinarian. And I probably wanted to do that till late elementary, 5th, 6th grade. And then I decided that I liked people too much and I'd rather be a doctor. And I don't really know, I can't think of one specific thing that caused that, but it happened. There wasn't a big influence or push to be a physician. It wasn't something that generations in my family had done. It was just something that I got in my head and never went away. It only got stronger. My dad's always like, can I call you doctor yet? He always says that every time I talk on the phone. No, not yet. You don't even call me after it. I'm just your daughter. Just call me Lindsay.
We can really make a positive impact on people and get to save lives, you get to deliver babies.
And I always tell people there's 3 reasons why I chose to go into medicine, because I love science, I love helping people, and I feel like this is where God wants me.
We'd like to thank our students for sharing their busy lives with us.
We also want to say thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to all of you for watching.
At the end of every show, we'll leave you with a question to test you about your Loma Linda School of Medicine knowledge.
This show's question is about how many medical students spend a month or more of mission service at healthcare facilities in developing countries each year.
Join us next time when you'll meet Dr. Will Alexander, whose innovative approach to patient care helped to integrate Loma Linda's famous motto into the medical school curriculum.
Historian Richard Schaefer will tell us about the medical school's 1936 recertification crisis.
And there will be another exciting look at student life here at Loma Linda University School of Medicine.
All that and more next time on Vital Signs.